We good? Let's go. So today I want to talk about setting up a Shopify business and if it actually went well. So I suppose in lockdown, there was lots of things happening. Online businesses boomed because there was obviously no opportunity to go out into the stores. So a lot of people set up businesses online and thrived. Now, I was watching an episode of in the UK called Dragon's Den, which if you're in the US, for example, I think it's called Shark Tank. And somebody came on that episode and they talked about a teeth whitening brand. The brand was called Smile Time. And the episode, she talked about how she made $1 million or £1 million within the first year. And she was actually going on to making 1.7 forecasting into the following year. Now, as an agency owner that works heavily with dental practices, I know a little bit about obviously dental marketing and how we can get out there to attract people to a brand. I've also had previous businesses as well, which have all been basically online led. As an agency, we actually have all the facilities to be able to create a brand. We have the staff to be able to create this brand as well. And we have an influencer department as well. So we can potentially, if we were to set this up ourselves, could we do it? So here's the results. Here is Shine. So Shine is our internal teeth whitening brand that we actually set up ourselves. It's basically a home teeth whitening brand. Now this isn't something new. It's been going on for some time. Some people, what they do is that they buy it from like Alibaba, for example, or AliExpress, and then they just basically ship it as is. I think one of the biggest YouTubers that I follow anyway, he started off by drop shipping teeth whitening pens and became really successful with that. So coming from the background that I've come from, I really wanted to make sure that the brand that we create looks good, because what I wanted to do is if I was selling this to stores, if this would basically pop out on the shelf compared to the competitors. And I was really proud of this. I think for the actual colors, the branding, everything that we've done, something to smile about, is something that when I saw the designs and actually saw the packaging, I was so happy, and I was thinking this actually looks better than the company that was on Dragon's Den and made that £1 million. And straight away then we went into production and we basically made 3 products to start off with. One is the teeth whitening kit. We did teeth whitening strips, and then we also did another thing which is like a formula, which is like a toothpaste, which helps enhance the teeth whitening process. Then what happened is that we built the kind of website over Shopify. We did some really good content creation. We got an influencer in to actually do some videos and kind of put that onto the website. And so she could actually help them promote the brand itself. And we did everything in order to set up this brand. We built the Shopify account, we set up all the banking that kind of has to come into it, set it up as a limited company, because in the UK you have to set up a company in order to then obviously sell, because they have to make sure that it's all taxed accordingly. All this was all set up and it basically was built out, and we luckily, because we have such good networks with influencers, we used around about 30 to 40 influencers to promote the product. And because we've got an internal person who manages PPC, which is for Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram and TikTok. So I went full force into this brand, and the kind of reality is we did all this work, we built it all out, and it went live, and it didn't do that well. So I think for most people who start off any business, they buy the stock, they buy the products, they build the brand. They could have spent $10,000 or $5,000 on stock, and then they go live and it doesn't do what they expect. In their mind, they're thinking, oh my God, if I was to buy this $10,000 worth of product and I was to sell it for $50, I'm gonna make a $40,000 profit. But the reality is, it's not as easy as that. With our teeth whitening brand, and this is somebody who we basically done this for so many people before, where we had success, but for some reason when we launched, it wasn't successful on the launch. Now, that's not to say that it won't be a success, but for me to tell you right now, not every single thing that you put on the internet is going to sell. I think there's a lot of people online who basically talk about drop shipping, they talk about setting up a business, they glamorize it quite a lot. They talk about how you can make millions by doing Shopify accounts, and they sell courses off the back of it because they're telling you that supposedly they've made loads of money from all this. But the reality is, it's not as easy as you think it is. There's a lot of cost that kind of goes into anything. And yes, you could turn around and say, how come you didn't do a TikTok strategy and just do it a lot more organic? Now, TikTok had its phase during lockdown. It's how it drove a lot of people to the platform because the algorithms were made for people to be seen. Now TikTok has turned around and basically changed its algorithms and is making people only be seen if you were to put paid ads onto it. And I'm not saying that that's always the case, because there are a lot of people out there who basically put a TikTok on it, obviously then goes viral. But if you're a business and you just want eyeballs to your brand straight away, you're gonna have to pay your ads. And that's the same with Facebook, and it's the same with TikTok. And it's something that now looking back, we need to build a whole new strategy around how we're actually going to do this brand to become successful. And we are going to be looking at more organic kind of reach, looking at how TikTok and other platforms and which one's going to be right for us for our brand. This brand was basically built for Gen Z people at mine, so some kind of the younger generation, who doesn't want to spend £400-500 going to a dentist to get their teeth whitened. They can have a teeth whitening kit at home, and these are affordable. I mean, this is like £20 when we basically sell it as retail. Teeth whitening kits are kind of just under £40, and there's loads of other things as well we can kind of consider. But what the message of this kind of video is what a lot of people do when they kind of set up anything is that they'll basically put all their eggs into this. They'll basically have that vision, and it's not a bad vision to have. As soon as you buy a product in, you get loads of influencers, you basically spend all this money in advertising just expecting it to sell. And the reality is that will happen to a handful of brands, but when you launch, they'll always expect that it's going to do as well as you think it is. And as an entrepreneur, and I've talked about this in this other video of mine, is being an entrepreneur right for you, it hurts because you spent all this time and effort about building something, you think it's going to do well, and then it doesn't. And it's a reality of being an entrepreneur and being something that you want to kind of test. Luckily for myself, I kind of have a bit of obviously cash to be able to afford the hit, and as much as I don't want to, because I think in my mind of what I could have spent that money on. But if you're kind of putting your life savings into something and you're really thinking it's going to do the best it's going to do, it's all going to sell out straight away, and it doesn't become reality, you need to be prepared for that. You need to really think about if you're going to put all your eggs into this basket. One other way that you could potentially do something similar to this is test it beforehand. And what I mean by that is, before you buy like $10,000 worth of stock in, is that you buy a small limited amount. Maybe it doesn't need to be branded, it doesn't need to have because when you kind of brand a package as well, you normally have to buy like minimum order quantities. So what I would say is maybe test it out first, see if the product actually reacts to the market, people are interested in it. You can just buy a small amount of kind of stock, or potentially look at drop shipping to kind of give you that feel before you then go out and do what I did, and that was buy a $10,000 worth of stock and then it basically not work out. I'm not saying that we didn't sell, we definitely did, but to kind of give you a law of averages, I spent around about $8,000 on ad spend, and in return we made around about $800 back. And that's obviously not where you want to be. You want to kind of think about, you see people online talk about ROAS and a return on investment, and we did X amount and all the rest of it. Which we've got people who have actually really good and done this before for other brands where they have increased sales, but not every business is going to land in the same way. So for us right now, what we're doing is kind of taking a step back, and we're going to re-strategize on this. We're going to look at all the data points from what we've done so far. We're going to look at why these sales didn't happen the way we wanted to. We're going to look at the funnel to kind of go, where did we go wrong? And then we're going to basically go back out again and actually advertise in the right way. So this isn't the end of shine, definitely not. I think the reason why I wanted to do this video is to really show you that not every single product that you put out there to the world and kind of online especially is gonna sell the way you think it's gonna sell. And like I said before, that's not always the case, that lots of things do really well online. But I just wanted to give you a realistic approach and a realistic mindset that you need to be prepared for as an entrepreneur, to say that it's not always going to work. So that's Coffee with Cass. If you've got any questions about Shine or setting up a business and the reality of owning a business, put some comments below. Please like, share and subscribe if you like this content, and we've got more videos to come. Speak soon.